is Haiphong and I'm 17 years old. I'm a student from class 12A13 in Haiphong High School. And about myself, I would love other people around me to tell you about it. An excellent student, humorous,
Đáng yêu chứ.
cynical. Apart from being wrapped up in my studies, I also concerned about social problems in Vietnam. So in 2019, I founded a non-government organization called White Sock Vietnam, aiming to ease the pains of the victims of prejudices, injustices, and discrimination in our society. My dream is to travel around the world and gain hands-on experience to promote the national image to the foreigner through my blogs. And in the near future, I want to be the pride of my family, friends, and Haiphong citizens.
Vâng, một video giới thiệu rất là hấp dẫn. Và chúng ta có thấy là Đáp Hoàng ở trên này là mặc đồng phục thôi. Nhưng ngày hôm nay đến với cuộc thi này thì Đáp Hoàng có một diện mạo mà các bạn nhìn thấy các bạn phải bất ngờ với Đáp Hoàng. Và ngay sau đây thì xin mời Đáp Hoàng. Rất đẹp trai đúng không ạ? Chúng ta là không biết là đi thi hát hay là đi thi tiếng Anh nó không biết đâu. Ngày hôm nay đẹp trai hơn cả hai MC của chương trình luôn. Và xin mời em hãy cùng lựa chọn một chủ đề của mình. Lựa chọn nhanh thế à? Xin mời nha.
Quay nhá.
Vâng, xin mời chị Diệu Hương ạ.
So here comes topic number 2. Haiphong is a locality with many famous scenic spots. In Haiphong, many architectural attractions remain today, including traditional architecture with pagodas, communal houses, ancient temples, and French neoclassical architecture located on old streets. How can we make these treasures become a new tourism product?
Và mọi người ngày hôm nay đã cổ vũ cho em hết mình rồi. Phần còn lại là do khả năng của em. Hãy cố lên Đáp Hoàng nhá. Xin mời phần thi của Đáp Hoàng.
Okay, take your time and good luck.
Máy tính có. Được rồi. Dậy đây nhỉ?
Okay, while we were waiting, I want to ask you, how many of the audience here have been to Hội An? Can you raise your hand? Yeah, a lot of people have been to Hội An, yeah? So I want to tell you about the story that I came to Hội An once and the way that they promote their architecture to become a tourism treasure. And through the storytelling technique and also some add-on values today. So please wait for my PowerPoint. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, so forget about it. I will talk about it. I will talk to myself. Okay. So So this summer, last summer, this summer, yeah, I forget about it. My class and I have an opportunity to go to the pagodas of Vietnam and Hội An Citadel, and you know that Hội An is so famous for its two power, which is a collaboration with Chinese, Japanese, also a little bit of French and Vietnamese influence. So before I came to An, I really wanted to went to a house and see how the architecture look, because it really inspired me for my school essays. So we have to go there and write a report. So yes, so basically the story. However, when I came to answer, what made me more impressed is that when I remember once when I go to a cheap house, I had a chance to learn how to make lanterns with the local communities, local residents, and also that I would tell about stories of the previous owner of the house, which is a Japanese entrepreneur during like the 1950s. So, what me impressed is that, and when I came back to Haiphong, the only thing that remind me, the only thing that in my head was like the unique architectures and the story behind every houses in Hội An. So, why won't we use the same method, the same technique to promote the architecture of Haiphong, which is the treasures of tourism? So because I have slide here, so because I want to be a marketer in the future, so I introduced two technique to promote our architecture. Firstly, I want that every houses in Haiphong, every neoclassical French house, every pagoda, every temple, have a story behind, and in jargon, we call it storytelling marketing. We not only sell the house itself, we also sell the story behind, and we need there should be a joint action between the government, the agents, the travel agency, also the local resident to collect the story behind the house, the originality of it, so that the tourists, when they come to Haiphong, they not only visit the house, they also visit the memory that the house had witnessed in the past. And secondly, I want to talk about community-based tourism, which is mentioned in one of my friends' presentation before. When I came to An, I see that I have the chance to make lantern in a tube house. So why wouldn't we allow foreigner to maybe how to make offering, how to pray in the way that Haiphong citizens or Vietnamese pray every day in their pagoda, so that they understand not only the beauty of it, the outside beauty of it, also the inside of the house, so that in the near future, I hope that I will given a chance to promote the architecture in Haiphong through my beloved plans, and I hope that you can join with me. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Even though your presentation didn't appear, that's not going to change any of our scoring or anything, so don't be concerned about that. My question is, in a town like Hoi An, which is unique, and it has its own architecture, and also each house has its own story. Why would you think that it's a good idea to spread that and to move that kind of architecture and that kind of story to other parts of Vietnam? Would that not take away the uniqueness of that house? Should we not just leave Hoi An's uniqueness in Hoi An?
I think that this is not about the uniqueness of every house. It's about the technique, the best technique, the optimal technique to promote architecture around the world. I have seen that, like in Italy, in the Romeo and Juliet house, they have the same technique. In Sherlock House in London, they use the same technique. And it's not about giving the house the same story. It's about giving the houses, each house their own story and their own individual activities that tourists can do while they observe the house.
All right, Haiphong. Seems that you've brought your own entourage over here. You have a whole cheering section over here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd just like to reiterate what John said here, that the technical difficulties that they're having has no effect on your score, so you don't have to worry about that. I just have a comment or a question. You're talking about architecture and whatnot. A lot of tourists also like to come to Vietnam because of beaches and hot weather and local markets, but they also love modern architecture. There's the fancy bridge you have here in Haiphong, you know, with the swirly thing going around. That's a cool bridge, by the way. A lot of tourists love modernization. And they like just to go and visit, you know, some pagodas and things. But their comfort zone is beaches and modern architecture. So what would you think about investing in modern architecture as well?
Pardon me? So I want you to paraphrase the question.
Okay. You were talking about the importance of heritage and architecture, but there's also modern architecture as well that tourists also come to see, and for all intent and purpose expect to see. So what is your feelings on combining the old architecture with new architecture to keep a medium between all tourists that come?
Okay, firstly, I'm not an expert in this field, so I think the best optimal solution should be given to the experts in tourism and architecture. However, in my opinion, I believe that while there are some tourists that are interested in modernizations, architecture, there are also people who love the nostalgia of the architecture themselves. So I think that the city council should balance between modernize the architectures and also preserve the beauty and select some of the most unique and outstanding architecture to preserve and to promote that, to sell that to the tourism, to the tourists. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm really enjoying your style today. Chris kind of stole my question, so I will ask. You said you're not an expert, but this is surely something that you're interested in. So I was wondering if you had any examples of architecture in Haiphong that you think is particularly impressive.
One of the most my favorite architecture in Haiphong probably is the big opera house, which is really near from here. I mean, it's a symbol architecture, the symbol of the city, the heart of the city, and it reflects a historical period of time when we have Haiphong and also Vietnam as a colonized of the French. So when the tourists have a chance to when they see the visit the big opera house, they will have the chance to also not only observe the architecture, but also learn about the history of Vietnam and also see the story behind of the construction of opera house. So that's why it's one of my favorite architecture in Haiphong. Thank you.
Xin cảm ơn phần dự thi của Đắc Hoàng. Hôm nay không có slide hỗ trợ nhưng mà Đắc Hoàng cũng đã thể hiện rất tốt phần thi của mình rồi. Cảm ơn Đắc Hoàng rất nhiều.